Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Matthew, Keenan. My name is Adol Newman, and I'm your host for The Zaid Show. Some of you may know me as the Slacker. I prefer to view myself as a visionary, a genius, a thinker, not a doer. Let's get right into our show now, shall we? Today's segment will be on The Scarlet Letter. Today we'll be investigating some themes, such as society and identity. I have my good friend James here. James, what do you have to say about society? How has it changed over the course of this book? Without spoiling too many details. The audience hasn't read it yet.
So basically, during this time, it was during Puritan Massachusetts, where they held high social standards. Everyone had to be uptight and religious. But then, Hester, our main protagonist, had an affair.
An affair? With who?
With...
Oh no, she didn't.
Yes, she
Unbelievable. How did this change Hester? How did Hester's character and identity change throughout this novel?
She was branded as an outcast with the Scarlet Letter
Scarlet Letter
branded upon her breast.
upon her breast. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a pause. That's enough of that. Okay, so let's continue on with our next theme. Innocence. Now, society back then, in the Puritan society, they didn't want to do anything wrong, you know? Everyone wanted to be pure in a Puritan society. Cut the laugh track. So anyway, as I was saying, in the society, everyone was kind of afraid to do anything wrong. And if anyone did do something wrong, then everyone would kind of treat them horribly and treat them as an outcast. So what are your thoughts on that? How did innocence play a role throughout this novel?
So before we get to there, we had to understand why Hester was branded as an outcast.
Right.
She committed perhaps the highest sin of all, committing adultery with another person.
Adultery.
She was an outcast.
Outcast.
Just like you.
Just like...
in this class.
Cut the laugh. I never said start the laugh track.
But unlike you, she still had some innocence to her side.
Hilarious. Fun.
Yeah.
Good joke. This is my show. Anyway, as I was saying, innocence. It's kind of like everyone really wanted to stay pure. That leads me to our next theme, guilt. Now, imagine guilt like this, right? You go up to a public fridge, right? You see an ice cream cone in it, and you're like, I'm hungry. There's an ice cream cone in the fridge. No name on it. I really want it. So you're like, You open up the fridge. You take the ice cream cone. You eat the ice cream cone. It's delicious. Vanilla or chocolate. I don't really care. Point is, it's good. Once you're done eating it, the whole workroom hates you. They want to kill you. They despise you, right? They draw a giant symbol of an ice cream cone on your chest using ice cream to mark you forever as the ice cream thief. You will forever be known as the ice cream thief from that day on. Now, I'm going to show you a direct, very gruesome imaging of this in real life. Now, of course, we can't have it in here, right? That would be a little bit gruesome. So, we're going to go to our reporter, Zane, my evil twin, and he's going to explain to you guilt.
Aren't you guilty about showing this project to them?
Cut! Cut the show! Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm your host, Zane L. Newman. Let's get right into the themes. Today we'll be discussing guilt, a common theme in The Scarlet Letter, and we're going to be discussing how it has affected certain characters. Now, first we're going to discuss the 1860s method of torture. As you can see on the left, we see, we see...
How could you? Ice cream was the only thing keeping me going. How could you eat it?
We see Michael clearly a little bit angry about someone eating his ice cream. Now, as we can see, he's using the belt, a very common method of torture. However, this wasn't very efficient back then because it only caused physical pain. Now here, I'm going to show you something that causes both mental and physical pain. Hello there, Chris. How are you on this fine evening? You know, someone recently ate my ice cream cone. This is the last one on the fridge. I specifically told everyone, don't eat my ice cream cone. And it's recently gone missing. I don't know what kind of fiend would eat the only joy of my life, my sunshine, my light. But of course it's not you. Oh no, dearest friend. You are too pure, too innocent, too kind to eat the only thing I was looking forward to this week.
Please, God, don't kill me.
And so, basically, I just want you to know that we're gonna find him.
Okay.
And then, we will get vengeance.
Oh, okay. I would.
Anyway, that's the Chillingsworth method. Michael, let me get one hit in. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for that gruesome footage that I forced you to watch. I'm Zaid, and tonight we'll be talking about symbolism. Now, symbolism in the Scarlet Letter, let's talk about the biggest symbol, the Scarlet Letter, that's on Hester's chest. Now, what does it represent? It represents the sin and shame that Hester carries due to her adultery. Society has kind of forced her to wear this symbol, and it kind of shows like the future generation, you know, children. You have to avoid this. You don't want to become this. So you want to avoid doing what she did, which was adultery. You don't want to sin.
The letter serves as a reminder to her and all society what she did wrong.
Right. It's a permanent physical brand on her own body. It's kind of like when you go into Walmart and you see an ice cream cone on the shelf and it says $5, and you check your wallet and you're like, I don't got $5. And you're like, huh, that's a shame. But then you look to the left.
That's the right.
The right. And then you look to the left. And then you gobble it up. Due to technical difficulties, we're gonna have to have a commercial break. James, what are you doing?
You can't eat the oh. Zaid, you know it's rolling, right?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now, as I was saying before, I was interrupted by that nut job.
Aren't you the real nut job, Zaid?
At least I didn't decide to shove a Klondike bar up my mouth in the middle of a scene. Anyway, as I was saying, it's kind of like when you're at Walmart and you see an ice cream cone and you're like, I really want to buy it, but you don't have enough money. So you steal it and then you get permanently banned from Walmart, and it's kind of like a Scarlet Letter of banishment.
Walmart style.
Moving on to our next subject, we have Author's Tone. And we have a very special guest for this, Nathaniel Hawthorne. So Nathaniel Hawthorne, our favorite author, please tell us, what were you thinking when you made the book? How did you feel towards these beautiful characters that you created?
Well, Zaid, while I was writing the book, I was very neutral.
Neutral.
I didn't care.
Didn't care.
At all.
At all.
Similar to a high school student that doesn't care about his grades.
You
Like,
say.
wait. I'll have you know, my good sir Nathaniel Hawthorne, that I care very much about my English grade, for I have the most wonderful English teacher in the world, Miss Paula Sadler. And I'll have you know that English is, in fact, my favorite subject of the day.
Sure, Zaid. Now, moving on.
Moving on, Hawthorne, please tell us, how did you really feel? Please explain why you felt so neutral. You know, like, go deeper with your analysis, please.
Alright, Zaid, I can do that. On the surface, I was very neutral. I didn't care, but really, deep down, I was displeased, to say the least, with how society handled the issue of the Scarlet Letter and adultery.
Right, society back then, you know, you clearly demonstrated how society was very extreme and punished anyone who did anything slightly wrong. I believe that your tone was beautiful and very engaging to every single audience around the world. Thank you, Hawthorne. Thank you. Thank God he is gone. He was the most boring author I have ever had the displeasure of reading literature of. Okay, his book was so boring, it put my dog to sleep while I was reading it next to it. Alright, his book was so boring, it made me want to jump off a building. Alright, his book
Like, why would you write something that would want to torture high school students for an eternity? Like, oh man. Why?
Excuse me? I will have you know that my book is the pinnacle of literature. It is everything that is right with a book. Its language is astounding, it is amazing, it is
As a
great.
person who appreciates your work, I can explain. So the Scarlet Letter serves as it captures what sin is and how does it like change someone. During this time, Nathaniel Hawthorne has a mastery of his language because of such detail. It displays of how like society was so focused on every little detail it did with their high religious standards. Not only that, it captures what the society what it was at the time. And not only that, the most important thing is that it shows what sin is. Today in society, we think of many things as sin as like something that we could just slack off. This book serves as a reminder of what sins, how can it change us, and why it serves really important to our lives.
This is Zaid.